Hello, my name is Souradip Dash. I'm from Kolkata, West Bengal, and I live in Ultaranga.
What motivated you to pursue this particular program at ISI or CMI?
So I have been doing uh, mathematics from a very long time, and I came to know of Olympiads from below grades from class 8. Then Olympiad maths fascinated me very much, and I wished to pursue this type of math after my 12th. So from graduation I wanted to do this kind of math, and I came to know of ISI CMI around that time. That was the first motivation that I found, which I wanted to pursue this particular program at ISI or CMI, anywhere where I get.
When did you first decide that you wanted to prepare for ISI or CMI entrance exam?
So at 11th grade I first qualified RMO, and I was practicing very hard for INMO, but unfortunately I could not qualify INMO at all, and I scored very low there. At that point I took a big decision. I i considered that a 12th grade would be more difficult for me to continue my Olympiad journey because of higher cutoffs, and I decided that it would be the best time from to start ICCMA preparation and be one step ahead. So that was the time. In the middle of 11th, when I couldn't clear INMO, that was the time when I first decided to start preparing for ISI entrances.
How did you plan your preparation timeline? Did you follow a daily or weekly schedule apart from the daily class lecture schedule?
I did not explicitly plan a preparation timeline, but I followed a weekly schedule. I I used to do problems and attend classes of Uddalak sir whenever he scheduled them in the respective timings. Apart from that, whenever I would had the time to do a little bit of mathematics, I would always use the time appropriately. Sometimes it has happened that maybe I couldn't do much of, or I my time wasn't very productive for that particular day or so. So all in all, I did not follow a very strict schedule, but I always tried to maintain a schedule so that I kept my practice in line for long.
Any particular topic you focused mostly on and why?
One of the particular topic that I focused most was calculus, but calculus was a very new topic. It is not there in Olympiads and is newly introduced in 11th itself. So that I had to give more focus, m- especially on its concepts, and I had to do more problem solving on that topic.
What books and resources did you use for your preparations? How important are the coaching modules and class notes?
To be very honest, I didn't have to use that many books for ICCMA preparation. I did use two books come to my mind right now, which I actually did help me a lot in this preparation. First is the Tomato book, which stands for Taste of Mathematics at 10 plus 2 level. That book is must for ICCMA preparation. One has to do it completely, one has to completely solve it from start to finish if he or she wants to do well in these exams, because that book actually has a lots of problems, especially for ISI, and both objective and subjective, and doing all those problems gives a good understanding of every topic that one actually covers. So, and another book, so another set of books I should say is that I followed was the Arian series. For there is a specific uh, set of books for Arian series on the topics like algebra, complex numbers, and coordinate geometry, and so on. Those books were also helpful. Uh, those books help for JE as well, JE advanced as well, and for ISI objective exam. They have relevant questions. They have theory as well, which I didn't require much, but the problems helped me a lot. So for books, I used mainly for problem solving only, and for theory and concepts, I used to regularly do all the classes. Classes were enough. If one does classes meticulously, then one I didn't require much books for developing concepts, but mostly for problem solving. For theory and concepts, I did not require much of books, because I used to regularly do classes of the lecture and coaching modules. Those helped me a lot better than books, and books were not necessary for me. They weren't required for me for building up concepts. uh, I didn't require any extra books for concept building.
How did the coaching modules or Basu sir's notes help in your preparations? Was it sufficient?
Yeah, as mentioned previously, uh, Udarak sir's classes, his notes, and his coaching class modules helped me a lot. That I did not require any other books to for preparing for ISA and CMI. So the concept building was uh, greatly done by these alone. I did not require any books for uh, any concept building, but mostly for I use this the two books as mentioned just for problem solving. Coaching. So if one follows them properly, then he or she will not he or she will be ready enough for with the concepts.
How important was it to daily revise the notes and parallelly practice the problems?
I would say that one should revise the notes only if he or she feels that uh, maybe he he or she did not get the concepts properly at the first time. So I used to revise the calculus notes more than the other topics, but revision is necessary. It's very necessary. It helped me a lot as well. There were few specific, uh, I should say, techniques, uh, like the revolution 3D revolution, which are actually which came in ISSMI last year. Those notes, uh, I used to follow them a lot of times, and that helped me in uh, tackling all those type of problems. like problems based on 3D revolution. And for calculus, there were some specific concepts which were a bit difficult to follow, but I used to revise them one by like all the time. So if maybe if I forgot some specific concept, then I used to ask Uddalak sir to if he could send me that specific note one time, and he used to do that, and I used to follow that again. And that helped a lot. So I would say that revise all those topics which you find uh, a bit difficult, or maybe it's not going into your head the first time you are seeing it. And parallelly, problem solving is always important. So always practice as many problems as you can from tomato and from coaching modules. So always try to finish off those coaching modules. And as I mentioned, those Arian books also helped me, so one can try those books as well. Problem solving is very important.
How important was it to give mock tests on a regular basis?
Mock tests. So basically, in the last 3 to 4 months, like before ISI exam, I used to regularly do mock tests. Uddalak sir gave me a lot of mock tests of aims for objective tests and subjective tests, and I did, and I tried to do all of those. So mock tests are basically an imitation of the actual exam in those specific times, and that helps to bring the speed, because ISI CMI has a fixed time of 2 hours, or CMI has 3.5 hours. So that's a very less time, and one might get into pressure in the actual day of the exam. So by doing mock tests, one can practice how to spend their time effectively on each and every problem. That grows by doing more and more mock tests. And also, if one can consistently do better in those tests, then he, he or she can, can feel that they are fully prepared for these exams. So mock tests are a great way to check how prepared you are before you are giving the actual exam.
How important was it to analyze and solve the PYQs of ISI and CMI?
And that also includes practicing past year papers of ISI CMI. All ISI CMI PYQs are basically their mock tests on their own. So doing each of those are also very very important. So yeah, that falls on under the category of mock tests itself, and they are actually more important than a normal mock test, because they actually came in the exam uh, years prior to our our exam. So that helps more for the preparation of the current exam.
How did you stay motivated throughout the journey?
In my journey of ISI CMI preparation, I I did so I like doing this kind of problems, and my main interest was to pursue math in ISI CMI, because I did not have interest in engineering at all. So I lost interest from JE. So doing these kind of mathematic problems alone is was my first motivation to stay committed to the journey of ICCMA preparation. And I enjoy doing this kind of problems. It is not that I took ISI CMI preparation because uh, it was a burden for me. It was not a burden for me. It was actually a very enjoyable journey. So I, to be honest, I did not require any prior motivation at all. So doing this kind of problems alone is my one and only motivation that kept me to stay committed to the ISI journey, ISI and CMI preparation.
How was your ISI and CMI exam day experience? How did you manage your time during the test?
So the UGA questions were actually pretty straightforward. I did well in the UGA part, but for ISI UGB was pretty difficult. And although there were some like copied questions as well, like there was one question of trigonometry which was basically an ISI PYQ, but it was a PYQ from 2011. So I did that question before. There was another question on complex numbers which was very lengthy and very difficult. I had no idea how to do that, and most of the people that I spoke with left that question. So that was a very difficult question. So that question was meant to be left out. And there was one question on geometry that was simple, and that was basically if one has done Olympiad geometry, then he or she will find it very simple, that geometry question. Apart from that, all the questions were like as far ISI standard, but still overall UGB was difficult, but UGA I did well, and it was also easy as well. Yes, so at UGA, so I did not feel any pressure during UGA. I managed to do a lot of problems. So UGA wasn't that difficult. So I did well in UGA. I did not feel any time pressure at all in UGA. But in UGB, I wasted a lot of time on one trigonometry question, and I felt a bit of pressure in exam. So I was forced to leave that question and tried a different question, which I solved. Then I solved that geometry question as well. The geometry question I actually when I saw that already thought in my mind the solution, because it was such an easy question. So I was keeping it at the end to write it properly. But still, as because I already got stuck in the trigonometry question when I first started attempting the paper, I wasted a lot of time there. I solved that geometry question as well, and another polynomial question, like there was one on algebra. There was another question, I solved that, and I then attempted the question on PHP. Now that question was also very difficult, but managed to do it, but it was difficult, and I used a lot of time there as well. I used like 30 to 45 minutes on solving only that question. It was difficult because it was I guess it was taken from 2001 APMO exam. APMO stands for Asian Pacific Mathematical Olympiad, and that in itself is a difficult exam which only like in my awardees can give. So although it was from 2001, so like it was like from early 2000s. In early 2000s, one can expect questions to be slightly easier, but it was still difficult in the context of ISIO, where only you get 2 hours for one UGB paper. After that, I tried the calculus questions. Question one was simple, but I just used up a lot of time, so I did not have much time left. I wrote a bit of partial, so I wrote a bit of partial for the trigonometry question as well, because I came back to that in a moment, but I could not do it fully. So I did a bit of partial work there. And for the calculus one, question one, which was simple because I I was so short of time that I could not finish it fully, but I still wrote the necessary points where one can at least expect a bit of partial marking. So all in all, usually I had a lot of pressure. I felt the same pressure when I gave in my 11th, and because in my exam I could not control my pressure, but this was ISI exam, and this exam actually decides my career. So I managed to do around three problems properly before, and a bit of partials. So that sums up my ISI exam experience all in.
What are the most common mistakes students should avoid during their preparations? What is the most crucial factor in cracking these exams?
In my opinion, the most common mistakes students usually do in their ISI CMI preparation is that they they do not focus on the core concepts. Like, first one should always ensure that their concepts of the various topics and of mathematics are totally clear. So because if the concepts are not clear, then you will find difficulty in solving the questions alone. So I would suggest that first focus only on concepts. So don't do any problem solving. Maybe you can do at least one to five problems, but when you are in the first stage, always focus on concept building. So if the concepts are not clear, then you will only find difficulty in solving problems. And the more you ignore concepts, so speaking of ignoring concepts, I also feel that students may ignore some specific chapters as well, or maybe specific sub chapters, so, which they may be fine, which they are maybe weak at. So ignoring chapters is does not help at all. ISI gives questions from every chapter. I have seen questions from number three, algebra, geometric combinations, calculus. I have seen questions from every field. So ignoring concepts, ignoring chapters does not help at all. I suggest that they should do each and every chapter, and if they find any difficulty in their chapters, they should ask doubts. Asking doubts help a lot. So it brings up new, more and more concepts that may have been uh, left by you in the first place, like you may have missed them in the first place. But by asking doubts, maybe to I have asked doubts to Dolak sir, and I by asking doubts, I asked something in some particular question, and then we both realized that that specific question had more in it than we were actually solving. So the question itself had more information that we were actually missing out when I did not ask it. So doubt asking helps a lot, more on concept building, plus it brings up new information that you could have missed previously. I would say the most crucial factor in cracking ISI CMI entrance was, so one has already done their preparation fully. One has uh, practiced a lot of problems. So let's just say that I take an example of a person, so an hypothetical person who has done all the problems, or like practiced a lot of problems, and is very much clear in concepts, and now he sits for the ICSMI exam, but he could not do well, probably because he could not maintain his composure during the test. So he felt a bit of pressure, he could not manage his time. These were the these are the main problems that actually come. And I personally, I have also felt the same when I was attempting the UGB paper, because I was also in the same time pressure situation. So to say that the most crucial factor for ICSM entrance would be that always maintain your composure during the exam. But and it could be that you are getting in some time pressure. It could be that you are far behind in your problems and your time is getting short. It could be that you are feeling a bit of pressure during the exam because you are just not able to solve anything. But even if you are facing such situations, always try to maintain a cool and calm mind. So if someone faced that situation before, I would say that maybe stop that problem for a minute, maybe drink a bit of water. It helps at that time. These crucial actions help a lot to maintain your composure during the exam. So to bring back that composure, in case you find it difficult to give the exam properly. And and also, because preparation is obviously important, one should be fully prepared before the exam. So if you are not taking full preparation, then there's no point giving the exam. So to summarize, full preparation plus maintaining composure, I guess these two factors are enough for clearing the ISICM entrances.
Any advice you would like to give to students preparing for the next ISI and CMI entrance exam?
And advice that I would give to students who are going to appear for the next ISI CMI exams, I would say that always enjoy the problems that you are doing, or enjoy the preparation. In uh, Don't take it as a burden, just enjoy it. it if you find any difficulty in your concepts, you can uh, ask your or your teacher. You can ask Uddalak sir, you can consult the help of the internet. But just enjoy the preparation and do not take it as a burden.
What are your goals after joining ISI?
My goals after joining ISI would be, so I have always wanted to pursue research in mathematics. I haven't decided yet after what I would do after bachelor's, but my primary goal is to continue with research work in mathematics and to publish research papers and so on. Thank you.